Hello and welcome to episode 467 of the Mark and Me podcast. As always, I'm your host Mark. Now, joining me on today's episode is the actor Lew Temple. We get to talk about his extensive career, all the different roles he's talked about, what it's like to work on The Walking Dead, obviously to get to work with the master himself, Quentin Tarantino, and the release of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning, which has just come out on 4K from our good friends Arrow Film. So there's loads of stuff to talk about on today's episode, and that interview will be coming up in just a couple of minutes' time. But as always, every intro of Mark and Me will touch base and quickly discuss the last episode. My God, it blew up. Thank you so much to everyone that listened. It was one of the most joyous, fun, silly episodes I've done with the amazing Venus girls. So thank you so much to the girls themselves for sharing the episode, to all the new listeners, to the existing and incredible fan base I've got that I see share these episodes week on week. It really is appreciated more than you'll ever know. But today it's all about acting. So here's my interview with me and Lew Temple. Welcome to the Mark and Me podcast.
Oh, thank you so much. I thought so lovely to be here, and I'm excited to talk about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the beginning, the origin story.
It's good. I also like on every interview, because I've had 457 episodes now with all different people, so actors,
Oh my gosh.
directors, musicians, bands, writers, poets, all different people. Is I do like to get a flavour of your background. So yes, we can talk about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning, but we can also talk about you growing up. And I'm always intrigued, especially when I'm speaking to actors. Was it at a very young age that you watched a certain film or a franchise or a performance that really stood out for you, that made you think, do you know what? I want to do what they're doing. I want to do this.
I wished I had. I wished I had that answer that you were looking for, but mine is mine's the complete opposite. I love television like any child, and I didn't consider that they might actually be other people than who they were on television. So I kind of weirdly thought that's just who they are, and we were watching them in real time. And I never thought about being an actor actually, and that came much later in life. And it was something that I hadn't had this innate passion like so many actors do to perform. That being said, I think I was always a class clown. I think I was always a performer. I think I always was fighting for attention in school, the prankster, the jokester. So yeah, I do think that that was part of who I was just performance or performing. But I certainly wasn't informed by any particular television show or film that said, "Oh my gosh, I want to do that." That wasn't really something that I connected with per se. I love television shows like The $6 Million Man.
Yeah.
I loved movies. Some great westerns with John Wayne or Clint Eastwood. I remember seeing a movie Bullet with Steve McQueen. That blew me away. I wasn't what you'd call a horror fan. I definitely was into Frankenstein and the werewolf and Dracula. Those might be the Hammer films. I thought those were really good fun. Like any boy my age, I might have been into Godzilla.
Oh, classic.
And so I might not have gotten into the art of cinema until later in life, per se.
So what was it? Because a lot of people I speak to did see a certain film or a performance, or they went to the cinema with their parents and they were like, oh my God, like, this is what I want to do. What was it then, even if it was later, like you just said, what was it that then actually made you think,
The honest story is I followed a young lady into a building to chat her up about her dinner plans, perhaps.
yeah,
And it was a theater. She was going into a theater class, and I saw what they were doing on stage, and I was taken in that moment on stage with what their activity was. And in that moment, I'm like, oh, those are my people. I can do that. Of which I actually couldn't. I audited a class later and found out I knew nothing about acting or stagecraft. So I went back to school in order to learn and pursue that. And
That's cool. I like that. I
so
like
I
that
kind
you're
of got,
honest.
yeah, I kind of got bit late in life by that bug, and had to catch up a lot. I have to say, it took a lot of learning and catching up to be able to, find my stride and land.
Did you feel you had a disadvantage because you started a bit later? Maybe, people come out of college and then go straight into film school and stuff. Were you like, oh, like
I
this is hard?
Yeah, I recognize that is exactly what it could have been, yeah, as you couched it, Mark. But
Yeah.
I had to spin from that, and otherwise I was going to get drugged down by. So I spun it in the headspace, the mindset that I had a lot of experience in life to bring to the world of acting, and I had access that no one else had. So I don't think I got hung up with things that might have tripped up others coming out of drama school. Um, Harkening back to my training, harkening back to my knowledge of the classics, recognizing um, stage worthy blocking. So um, what that did is it freed me up to realize, well, what I do have is a great plethora of life experience that no one else has. I mean, everyone else has life experience, but no one has mine. And that catapulted me into being unique and authentic. And at that time in Texas, um, that was a very serviceable trait. It was just at the time of Richard Linklater and Robert Rodriguez and Dazed and Confused, and there was just sort of um, a movement about being real, and so it was a good time for me to land.
I love it. And a lot of people will recognize your voice because obviously you've done so much great voice acting. And, there's certain shows that people might be like, oh my God. And I first heard you, I think it was in, showing my age now, Bubblegum Crisis.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, that's
Yes.
so great that you bring that up because in Houston, Texas, interestingly, there was a very small company called ADV, and they were purchasing Japanese titles, these anime titles, and hiring stage actors. And at that point, that's what I was a stage actor. They'd hire us to match lip flaps and voice these characters. And we were well underpaid, but just by virtue of being paid, we thought we were professional actors and we loved it. So I did start there. Bubblegum Crisis, Evangelion, Dirty Pair. Um, there's all manner of titles. And now, of course, anime is so popular. And interestingly, I'm back in it. So I've just been hired by Crunchyroll, this company, and I'm doing a voice for a new title called Night of the Living Cat, which is a spoof on Night of the Living Dead or The Walking Dead, where cats carry a virus. If in fact you pet them, you turn to a cat, and so we are a group of survivors being chased by herds of cats and being pulled by our temptation to just stop and pet the pretty kitties and not being able to do that. Actually, my character, spoiler alert, does turn.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, sorry about that. But it happens in the first 5 minutes and then we flash back a lot. So I'm back in anime thanks to my good friend Jason Douglas, who I had started all those years back. He's the voice of Beerus on Dragon Ball Z. And
Amazing.
he and Jeremy Inman, our showrunner director, invited me to be part of this, and it's been great fun. And one of the reasons it's been great fun for several, it's just good to be back in the booth. But Jeremy's really good at directing me, and so often where we're at today, Mark, in our world, all of our auditions are self tapes. And so we direct ourselves a lot. And it's really nice actually to be directed. I'm an actor that likes to be directed if it's good direction.
Of course, yeah.
Uh, um, but so in the booth, it's fun to go and take direction and apply it and actually experience some reward with the work. So often, what we do in our auditions, we're just an island alone, just directing ourselves and building these auditions and sending them into the ether where nothing happens.
I think that's kind of, not in a negative way, but a bit soul destroying, isn't it? Like I see people doing self tapes now, especially for anything on social media, for TikTok and Instagram, and everyone's all trying to get that 5 minute of fame. And I really worry that people won't go into a studio now, sit with executives, do a proper audition, sit in front of people that can give you their real live, real time feedback that can be so constructive and so beneficial instead of just, oh, I sent my audition off as an MP4. I've
Yeah,
uploaded it and I've never heard anything back. Like, fucking hell, like, I've put all that time and effort in and no one may have even watched it. And I think I don't want the
huge
world to
point.
feel like
Huge
that,
point.
you
Well,
know?
let me spin it as a music educator, and are you receiving tapes in order to get into music school? Are you guys going through that same process?
We do a lot of actual auditions in the actual studio, so people get to come in and physically play in front of you, which is great.
Yeah.
And then you get a real sense of the personality as well, and the type of person they are. So I think that's really important because personality is just as important as talent. If you get someone who comes in who's one of the best drummers in the world, if they're going to really piss everyone off for the whole 2 years, we don't need that. We want the right balance. But that's a really good point you've thrown back at me, and I think that's interesting because I think it's just about time, isn't it? Everyone wants to do everything a lot quicker now. Everyone wants just that instant. Am I in? Am
I
I not?
I think that, well, I don't know, when I talk to casting directors, um, they're actually enjoying this process because of the efficiency. They
Yeah,
can see a lot more actors because of this. I think they're not near as connected to the choices they're making. So occasionally I'll hear they'll make a choice and then that person didn't show up on set. In other words, the person that spent all day tweaking that audition and getting it just right, and it's a great tape, and then we hired him, and the director switches a little bit in the moment, and the actor can't pivot, and all of a sudden it's like this guy can't take direction. So um, maybe that happens a little bit, but in general, I'm hearing from most casting people that they're well pleased with having as much a wider berth of selection process, which to me, that just makes it frustrating, Mark, because it's like buying a tie, right? Like, how do you pick out of 100 of these? They're all great.
yeah.
They're
They all
all
they all will
great.
do the job.
They all will do the job. Used to be it was my type. There was 1 in 20 of us here in Hollywood. And I used to moan about those odds. 20. Why are they bringing 20 of us in? They could bring me and four other guys. Now it's me and 5,000 other guys. And so it is a really interesting perspective. I think because it's so wide, it becomes very generalized, and now they don't know how to reconnect the process. And so it's a little broken. So to your point, they don't know how to. They keep using terms like "be authentic." We're looking for um, you, and that's because they're not seeing me. They're seeing a facsimile of me on a tape, and so they're actually not connecting with the tapes the way they did connect with in the room, or to your point, in the studio playing some music. And so I don't know. I assume that they're okay giving up that element of it for the efficiency, because at the end of the day, the executives that are making the decisions probably care much less about um, the connectivity or the essence than they do about the efficiency.
Yeah, that's a fair comment. Yeah.
I actually just want to get this cast without having to spend any more time and search on this. Um, and directors are being built that way. There's very few, most of the directors are going along like the rest of us, doing as they're told. So it's a it's an interesting dilemma. We'll see how it turns out. I don't think we're going back in the rooms. We might do a little hybrid. They might do some chemistry reads. They'll call them callbacks, just to see if the person they're hiring can take direction.
I've looked, and obviously, if I'd said to you when you were getting into the world of film and TV that you'd get to work with Rob Zombie with Halloween, which is
Yes,
a hell of an experience and a great director.
yes,
Quentin Tarantino for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, like pretty impressive. And then throw in The Walking Dead, like that's pretty impressive to look back at and say you've worked with some of the best people in the industry. Like Tarantino, my God, like a
yeah,
genius.
yeah. I've always really appreciated the fact that I have worked with great directors. So
Yeah,
I've known them. And that might start at Tony Scott, by the way.
yeah,
That might be at the top. And oftentimes I would be hired by a great director like Gore Verbinski, for instance, from the Pirates of the Caribbean fame, who would inquire, what's Tony like on set? How does Tony do it? I want to do it like Tony, only better. I could always get a sense of that. Or when Michael Bay's producing this Texas Chainsaw Massacre and he shows up, and how is a Tony Scott set? They're world known, renowned for being huge, epic adventures, like working with Willy Wonka, you see. And so having that experience and knowing what true Hollywood lions, true cinematic lions are, that worked at the biggest level, at the top of the game with the biggest budgets. It was a great experience. And I for one, just like the fact that I went into rooms to audition for Tony Scott in person, I've had that experience. So I've never taken that for granted. Um, Rob Zombie is the guy that I've watched just improve on his storytelling, improve on his process. He's very self-made. He's very self-contained. I have no doubt he could be on top of a huge production, but he likes a little more management, so he doesn't like to get too big. Recently, I did an episode of The Righteous Gemstones for Danny McBride. He directed, and it was a huge, epic set. This Civil War reenactment for season 4, and I watched him on a just navigate a monster set and realized, oh, he could make really big movies. A la Jean Favreau, right? He could direct some of these tentpole Marvel or DC films, and then working also with someone like Alejandro Inarritu, who's won Oscars and so detail oriented, or working with someone like Alphonse Cuarón, who also and their taste and their storytelling and they all have a different perspective. And then finally, back to Quentin, um, his his offering on set is him.
yeah.
He is the star of his movies, and we all fall into his tableau, and it's genius watching him, watching the fact that he still shoots on film, Mark. The fact that we're still doing canisters of film. It's crazy. It's very, very, very crazy. And so we are we're so excited to be able to have those experiences. And uh, there's no no shortage of good opportunities and experiences that we've had.
So obviously at the moment, I will get shot if I don't talk to you about Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning, which is coming out on 4K through Arrow Video, which are one of the best distributors over here.
Oh,
Um,
good. Yeah. I'm excited about that because I feel like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre doesn't get as much recognition as a franchise as it should compared to the Halloweens, which of course I've also done, and 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 maybe compared to, I don't know, what's this new franchise, Terrifier.
oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah, the slasher clown. Yeah,
yeah, right. And so I feel like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is kind of getting its love through the UK, through Arrow, as that goes.
yeah,
And
they're a great company, dude, and they put so much heart and soul into their releases with commentaries, with the packaging, with outtakes, with behind the scenes. Like it's the ultimate version when you get one of theirs.
oh, that's very cool. That's very cool. And is Arrow, are they specific to the horror genre?
Not so much now. They've ventured into a bit more commercial titles, so they've had stuff like Boyhood recently and great titles like that. But they also do have the roots are from horror, so they used to get the real video nasties and the ones that wouldn't always get the light and day. So it's great to see now that people are getting those releases they've wanted for so long, and yeah, like you genuinely, dude, you're gonna see a huge response to this, and especially with the 4K treatment as well, it's gonna be the best version you can get.
Right. We got a lot of love on The Walking Dead, obviously, which was its own experience. It was an incredible experience because it just became a phenomena, like a pop culture phenomena. And so, and now that they're branching off, spinning off into sort of a European version with Daryl's story, I
Yeah,
think it opens it up globally, right? And which it was always coming, it always needed to be. So uh, I'm happy that the UK is participating.
yeah, it's a good time as well. I think I've said this recently to a few directors that have been on the podcast, but I truly believe that horror is the biggest it's ever been right now. It's the Comic Cons, the horror conventions, the amount of great films in the cinema that have done so well over the last couple of years that are horror. It just seems like
Why do you think that is?
I think people like a good script and like to be scared and like that whole going to the cinema and being frightened again.
Right,
you're getting a lot of remakes, aren't you? Like I Know What You Did Last Summer.
right.
But then you're getting original stories that people really respect, like Bring Her Back.
Hmm.
People were really going crazy for that, and I think
We
is it?
got some new original stuff that's happening. Also, like weapons.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. I need to go and
No,
see
nor
it.
have I. Yeah, I haven't seen it either, but just hear great things about it. Also, um, Sinners, I think, was out
That was
recently.
huge, yeah. So, like again, original, great concepts.
Yeah, and does the Smile franchise hold water over there?
It does. I've not seen the second one, but again, what a great concept! What a great idea!
So interesting because I did the short film, which got its deal, which
Yeah,
is called Laura Hasn't Slept, which is on the Blu-ray extra of the first Smile. And Parker was able to take that to a film festival and get Universal to start a franchise for him. And I always ask the director, Parker, um, "Hey, dude, when how come I can't be in your movies?" He's like, "Oh, I started the lore right after you." So um, that's been difficult. But that show's done really well.
What I was going to say is I ask this to a lot of people that come on the podcast, and because you've had such a great variety in your performances, there's such a lot of work you've done on TV, voice
Thank
acting,
you.
film,
Thank you. That's kind.
a real range, especially the anime stuff is incredible. And there are people that listen to this podcast that are studying, that are going to film college, that are starting to get that taste of what they want to do. I know you did
Yeah.
it in later life, which
Yeah,
we talked about at the start. But
for sure.
what advice do you give to those people that are looking up to you, thinking,
Interesting.
you know,
Yeah.
how do I
I
stand
think,
out, in a world that's so busy?
the advice would be, it's changed for me. So the
Yeah,
advice I give is changed now. And I think that is the foundation of what my advice would be. I don't know so much about taxes. I do think you die, but one thing that is constant is change. And so I've experienced that our industry has changed so much, so rapidly, so recently that if you're prone to resisting change, it will become very difficult. So uh, change and be available to change. And in that mindset, um, somewhere man figured out a good time to plant, right? A good time that we grew crops in order to eat. And this is when man started to survive. No, recognizing the seasons, recognizing the trends. And I think that should be applied to the industry. You should be looking at what the next machination of entertainment is to become a part of it. So it might be streaming in a different form. I think we're heading to short form personally in the form of these verticals. I think that real shorts will be the new Netflix. So get yourself in a place for actually talking head, two shots, very soap operatic, um, cliffhanger, be able to leave the audience in suspense and be good at a close up. That would be my advice. Which have proper diction, have good control of your face, and you're blinking, and stay in the camera as tight as you can. Outside of that, I'm a big advocate of reading. I think when you read well, you speak well.
yep,
Uh, so if you're going to drop into some Shakespeare, uh, then you're generally going to be thinking and speaking better and more available to providing a more intellectual and an intentional audition and or read. I also think you should know what your voice sounds like. So when you do read at home, read out loud.
that's
And
great. That's great advice.
yeah, and then following that up, read out loud into a mirror so you see what your face looks like. We all think we look one way, but oftentimes we don't look like what we think we look like when we speak.
That's so true.
And then finally, and this is something I would just tell everybody, even though I kind of bemoaned it in our previous conversation about this, I think it's important to really more than ever to be not just know who you are, but know how to present who you are. It's one thing to know, I'm kind of the quirky guy that is in trouble or gets out of trouble or starts the trouble. But how do you present that? Because really, we all know what the script says. And when you go in to read for something, the people that wrote it are there. They know what they wrote. They know who the character is. They're actually looking for who you are, Mark. And for you, instead of trying to present who you think the character is, more than that, figure out how to present Mark is most appreciated. And it's a difficult thing to do because it doesn't make sense. I'm auditioning to play Mark, and yet you want to know who Lou is? Yeah, exactly. And so
Yeah,
you got to start being good at that and uh, know who you are, which is basically just knowing your brand. Know what your brand is, which I call your color. What color are you? If you're a earth tone and you blend in and you're kind of chill, if you're a fire orange kind of guy that you're starting the trouble. You're start because these productions they paint in colors just like a Picasso, and sometimes a shade of blue isn't always used, and you go into audition and you're just the wrong color for this painting, but you might be the right color for next week's painting, and just be true to thine self.
That's so beautiful, man. I've asked that question so many times. That's probably my favorite answer. Because it's straight from the heart. It's so real.
Yeah, I think and that's back to experience. That's just from I spent a lot of years. So I call that the dummy tax. What I just offered, I've paid that tax so many years doing the soft shoe shuffle, trying to give casting directors, producers, directors, writers what I think they want. It's such a waste of time because mainly they don't know what they want until you bring it. And if it's false, if it's this cartoon of what you think it is, it's just not going to land. And so I just do better by being great. And then finally, the last thing to that point is you're the only you there is, and it is perfect. It is
Yeah.
absolutely ideal for any and everything. And if you can just connect with that, and um, I'll give a real quick story. Uh, there's this carpenter. He was really good at giving speeches. He's out with the multitude, and he's speaking. And they, one of his buddies says, "Hey, we've run out of food. There's no food, no food to eat." And the first thing this guy says, he's like, "What do we have?" And yeah, we don't have any food. I didn't ask you what we don't have. What do we have? We got we've got 5 loaves and 2 fish. Okay, bring them. No, but we've only got 5 loaves and 2 fish and 5,000 multitude. Yeah, what do we have? 5 loaves, 2 fish. Okay. The point of that is what you have is you always to start with, and it's always enough. It's always enough. So every morning, ask yourself, what do we have? What do I have? And then be happy with that and know that it's enough. And that's a great place to start. You can start adding on to what you have.
I love it, dude. I absolutely love it. I've got time for one more question. And
Yay.
what I do on this podcast for everyone that's been on, I've had Anthony Hopkins, Mads Mikkelsen, Kevin
Oh my
Smith,
gosh. What a group.
really great people, but they've all had the
I'll
same.
say.
Yeah, they've all had the same final question. And what I do to make it as personal as I can, I do put you on the spot. But as this interview is all edited, ready for the world to listen to, you get to choose a piece of music or a song that means a lot to you personally that's played. So all 450 episodes of Mark and Me has a different ending because the guest who's been on, whatever walk of life they've been on, in that moment gets to choose the song that plays out at the end of the episode, a bit like a film. And I wondered
Yay.
today, I'm not going to give you too long. Otherwise, you could think about it and have 100 songs in your head and then 50 and then try and get it down to
What
what
happens? What happens if it's duplicated? What do you do? Oh, I've
I,
done that one.
I respect it. I say, well, what's the reason? And usually it's the reason for that choice of that song that means more than the actual song itself. So someone might say, my daughter was born and I first heard this song, or it was the
Yeah,
song I broke up with my partner. There's going to be a song that means a lot to you in your chest and your
it
heart.
does. Yeah, I two come off just immediately, and they for absolutely different reasons, and tonally they are also different. Um, Everlong by the Foo Fighters
That's a beautiful
is,
song.
is a great song, and the energy of it, and the power of it, and the drive and desire. I listen to it often. I'm doing The Walking Dead actually,
Yeah.
and so I love that song very much. My wife and I love that song. My wife actually worked on the music video as the second
Oh, amazing.
as the second unit director for Everlong. and her partner at the time directed that video, along with a great movie about her that he won an Oscar, Michel Gondry. And then the other song that I love is, which is so sweet, is "Do You Realize" by the Flaming Lips.
I've not heard the Flaming Lips for fucking years. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you realize that you have the most beautiful face in the world? It's such a sweet, beautiful song, and we all need to hear that now and again. So
which would it be if you have to toss a coin or play?
I'm going to say Everlong. I'm going to say Everlong.
Yeah.
Just because I like the rock and roll power. And
I love the energy as well. The energy on those verses.
So at the end of the day, I'm all about energy. So that is a big part of my life and world. So I'll go with Everlong. Also, I don't ever like to say goodbye or so long. So we'll just say Everlong.
Perfect.
That's for you.
Dude, I'm going to say thank you for coming on today. It's been an absolute pleasure. I will promote the hell out of this release for Arrow, but I'll be tagging you in on all the socials. And I know what it's like. This world is smaller than I think. And the older I get, I realize paths cross all the time. And I know it won't be long until I'm bumping into you somewhere or something will happen.
I'll look forward to keeping up with you, Mark. And am I the me?
You are.
Thank you. Okay. I thought I wasn't going to be so bold, but I was thinking that must be how it works. My brother's name is Mark, and oftentimes I would say Mark and me, and I think I would get corrected Mark and I, and so I'm curious.
What it is, and it takes a bit of the fun away, but do you know the film? It's a really silly, cheesy 80s film called Mac and Me, which is about a silly little alien that's like a spoof on E.T.
Yeah, right.
So if you look at my logo and everything, someone said, because I like the film, I like that it's so bad, it's good, it's one of those guilty pleasures. I got a bit obsessed, so I was like buying the Blu-ray and everything. I was like, why do you like this terrible film? I'm like, I don't know, it's just like a comfort film. It just means a lot to me. And then I just thought, I'm going to call it Mark and Me, like Mac and Me, and then do the same
Mac
little... So
that's beautiful. That's great. Well, I have enjoyed being me on the Mark and Me podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What time is it? Are you like
quarter to 9? So look now, look at it.
Yeah. Perfect.
So I'm going to go to bed soon, but you've got a whole day ahead of you. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope so.
I'm going to watch I'm going to watch the Jeff Buckley documentary tonight.
Oh, I think I've heard that's fantastic. Really.
Yeah.
You know, he resonates even today. I have a 17-year-old daughter who is just as much a Jeff Buckley fan as you are. So
I've got a tattoo there. Look, so the last goodbye.
Maybe she's not as much a Jeff Buckley fan as you are. That's so great. So
the best.
How many hallelujah, how many people have offered that song?
One, but they chose the Leonard Cohen version.
Yeah. No one's because Buckley's is so much sweeter, but
people have picked The Last Goodbye. So I had Brandon Boyd from Incubus. He came on and he picked Last Goodbye, and I was like,
oh wow,
amazing.
Thanks.
Those are great songs. Thank you.
Awesome, dude. Thank you for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope we can do more one day.
Thank you so much, Mark.
No worries.
Thank you.
Take care, my friend. Bye-bye.
You too.
So there's my interview with me and the awesome actor Lew Temple. What an amazing guy. What great advice he gave at the end. To pick Everlong as well as the final music. For me, that's one of the best songs out there. So yeah, I loved today. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as me. And if you did, hit the share button, guys. You know the score. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever you use. You can share the episodes. It costs nothing to do and really does spread the word of Mark and me to a bigger audience just because you literally hit the share button. So as you're listening right now, why not jump on your social media channels and just share this? It really goes a long way, and I'm so grateful to each and every one of you that takes the time to share the episodes every single week, and I see them all and I'm so thankful. Also, guys, I have a Patreon account. It basically helps me put the podcast out on all these different directories, which costs quite a lot of money for the bandwidth each and every month. So if you go on markandme.com, click the Patreon button, it'll take you onto there. You can sign up for as little as £1 a month, and all the money that comes in will go right back into the production of the podcast. So please, if you can, it really goes a long way. Also, before I go, let's give a shout out to the sponsors of Mark and Me. Firstly, Richer Sounds. Anyone that knows anything about TV, video, audio, anything to do with that, head to Richer Sounds and treat yourself to something awesome. They won't be beaten on price. They have a VIP club which gets exclusive monthly newsletters which has loads of discounts and exclusive prices, and they just know their stuff. They're experts. So go to their high street stores or visit richersounds.com. And finally, Vice Press. If you want a poster for incredible films that are all licensed and official by some of the best artists in the world, go onto their website, vicepress.com, add anything to the basket and use the discount code MarkandMe10 to save yourself 10% off some incredible goodies. Right, guys, this upcoming week is one of the busiest and best for me personally. I absolutely adore these interviews that are coming up. I would say this on record right now, the interview I'm about to release in the next 48 hours is my personal favourite interview I've done this year, and I follow it up with my second favourite interview of the year, so it's a huge week. So I hope you all enjoy them, but until these episodes drop, please look after yourself, take care, and I'll speak to you all very soon.